incidents that happened when Deborah Yakubu was killed in Sokoto State, Usman Danfolo. Yes, stoned to death. Who was arrested? How many people were prosecuted? Some northern leaders who put out a tweet had to delete it for fear of backlash. There is a problem with that kind of society. In 2016, Deaconess Olawale Eunice, a Redeemed Christian Church of God evangelist in Kubwa, was butchered to death. Who was arrested? Who was prosecuted? The vice president in that administration was a redeemed pastor.
My people, Tinubu APC government is under woto back front and center. Nigerians are asking, who is spying Nigerians? Has the Tinubu-led APC government lost the ability to protect Nigerians? Terror attacks, mass spying, and insecurity are on the rise. But who is really behind it all? In this video, we explore the shocking truth about the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria, those responsible for the spying, and whether it's time for President Tinubu to resign, just like he once advised former President Jonathan to resign. Join the conversation, share your thoughts in the comments below, and let your voice be heard. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest news in Nigeria. This is Trend with G.
I think I stand with the Nigerian people. I stand with the victims of this senseless killing and, of innocent Nigerians, and whatever pressure that will be needed to put on our government to do what they ought to do should be done. I think the events of the last few days have been a monumental tragedy. It's a disgrace on every level that it took the intervention of a foreign government to put pressure on the Nigerian government to take seriously what the Constitution describes as the primary responsibility of government, which is the protection of life and property of the citizen. And nobody should question the intervention of the United States. The current president, where they were in opposition, they went in 2014 to the United States of America on the same killing of Nigerians, demanding or requesting for intervention. And so when a man's house is on fire, with whoever that helps to put it out, that is the interest of the person. So as it is today, the question is, the US president said the Nigerian government should move fast. So the pressure should be on the Nigerian government to move fast, because I mean, if it were in other climes, there should be some resignations at this point. Because when you have a series of events where citizens are being killed and there is no action from the leadership, or rather actions that seem to suggest that leaders are rather complicit in protecting criminals or giving them, a soft landing as against protecting innocent citizens, I think it is a monumental tragedy. And whatever that needs to be done, I mean, we are able to take grants and loans and whatever from the United States of America, so we should be able to take their warning and move fast. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wherever you are, you should move fast to end these killings.
Are Nigerians angry at the messenger instead of the message? Do you understand? Is pride now replacing urgency in our country? And then secondly too, they keep going on about, it's not just Christians that were killed, it's also Muslims. But the truth of the matter is that nobody is talking about the originators of the killings themselves.
Very important. I mean, it is not about whether being angry at the messenger or taking the message. You cannot even be angry at the messenger, because as the other, my colleague has rightly said, there is a responsibility to protect under the United Nations Charter, and that a foreign government can step in. The US has invested a lot. A lot of our military officers are trained in the US, trained to handle their equipment. They sell most of our weaponry hardware come from the United States. And if the government of the state seems to be folding their arms while these kind of issues are going on, perceived genocide, and all of these kind of hate crimes and events, there is a responsibility to step in. And then if we talk about, Muslims being killed and Christians being killed, the fundamental question will be, who is carrying out the killing?
Exactly.
And then if we now agree, because what it seems now is like, it is more shameful. Our response is not that there are no killings, is that, US, you are not even saying it as bad as it is. So Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed. Now the question will be, if Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed, who has a problem with coming in to take out the killers?
Exactly.
I think there should be a mutual agreement that, look, everybody is a victim of this issue, and then the terrorists themselves should be taken out. Who are the sponsors of terrorism? Who are the beneficiaries of terrorism?
That's a big question.
Because there is a track record. President Buhari, under President Jonathan, terrorists were almost confined to the forest. We had the infamous Sambisa forest. Today, under the APC government, terrorists are holding stakeholder meetings with security officials and government. So we have a situation where we have security and insecurity officials holding meetings, brandishing
and giving
arms,
advice
and giving advice on how it should be ran. President Buhari took out $1 billion from excess crude account and invested in insecurity. Somehow it exploded. When it was under Jonathan, where the President Tinubu now called on the competence of President Jonathan and asked him to resign, insecurity was almost localized within the northeastern region. Under the APC, the military is in active service across 36 states and the FCT. So right now, as it is, the question will be, what exactly is being done? And then you come as a president under this kind of administration, you outsource issues of defense to the National Security Advisor, and guess what? The president is chairing the Ministry of Petroleum. In a country where the last time President Tinubu traveled on a vacation, more than 100 persons were killed in a space of 2 days. That president is heading Ministry of Petroleum and not Defense as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So when you see this level of mischief across board, people are being killed, bandits will hold peace deal the next day, they are also carrying out attacks. It calls to question the capacity of the government to protect its people. Okay. So the same question that President Tinubu asked the Goodluck Jonathan administration should be thrown to him. Has the APC-led federal government lost the capacity to protect Nigerians? If so, then they should take the advice they give to the administration. But if not, please heed the advice of Mr. President Donald Trump and move very quickly to end this killing.
Okay, let's get back to you, Peter. You know, how do we separate Islam from extremism? Because how do we do that without demonizing peaceful Muslims themselves?
Yes.
But yet, at the same time, not allowing extremists to hide behind religion. How do we find a balance?
We must be honest with ourselves as a people. There are the majority of Muslims, I have Muslim friends, we relate with them, they are peace-loving people who just want a country to thrive. The question is, there is a problem when you always need to say that a religion is a religion of peace. That statement in itself, because religion should not be otherwise. And the leadership of, the northern part of the country must be honest with themselves. Is illiteracy and certain social vices being weaponized against the people? What kind of Islam, we must ask ourselves, is practiced in Qatar? What kind of Islam is practiced in Saudi Arabia? What kind of Islam is done in United Arab Emirates and in Bahrain that are moving technologically, growing and prosperous for across the citizens? How has our own religion only turned out to produce insecurity, poverty? How many of the children of the elite northerners are engaged in the kind of Almajiri system that they push forward? So we must come to the understanding that every person who is at the baseline, who is not at the upper class of society, is a victim. Religion is only being used as a cloth to cover. Both Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed. And if you know truly, remember the incidents that happened when Deborah Yakubu was killed in Sokoto State, Usman Danfolo. Yes, stoned to death. Who was arrested? How many people were prosecuted? Some northern leaders who put out a tweet had to delete it for fear of backlash. There is a problem with that kind of society. In 2016, Deaconess Olawale Eunice, a Redeemed Christian Church of God evangelist in Kubwa, was butchered to death. Who was arrested, who was prosecuted? The vice president in that administration was a redeemed pastor. What was done about it? So when there is a track record of a failure of the judicial system where there is selective justice, then everybody becomes a victim. At this point now, if Christians, or there is a perception that is Christian genocide, and then Muslims also believe that Muslims are being killed, is it not an opportunity for everybody to unite and say, look, we are all victims, let us take this out? So it lies on the leadership of even both religious sectors and also the people to know that in the end of all of this, when all is said and done, those of us who do not have the opportunity, in Nigeria, one of the offenses you will commit is to be poor. Whether you are Islam or Christian, the only person who that Sharia one time has caught was somebody who stole, his hand was amputated. A governor in the north was caught on camera receiving dollar and stacking inside Babariga. The president at the time said that the video was probably doctored. So laws are meant for the poor. So you can even recite the Quran from back to back, but when it comes to the issue of dispensing of justice, you may not be held to the same standard with an elite or somebody of opportunity.
It's good that you mentioned that, because there's also the speculation that some people in power actually encourage this conflict because they use it to their advantage. What's your take on that? There are also those who believe that the governors of these states where these things happen should be sanctioned one way or the other when these occurrences do come to pass.
Anti-rules. I think it was the late Sani Abacha who said when insecurity lasts beyond 24 hours, then there should be the hand of government in it.
Yes.
The former Nigerian Minister for Defense, our first Minister for Defense, T.Y. Danjuma, stood on a platform in Taraba and made a bold statement. He said the military, they are not neutral. They collude with the terrorists. A minister for defense. What was the investigation that was carried out? We have seen pictures and videos and allegations of where terrorists were found in certain government houses and nothing was done about it. So when there is a perception that instead of protecting life of citizens, persons in government, why is it that insecurity has become almost a multinational economic investment? The more money you pour into it, the more it increases. So definitely it has become business. So if you can allow this kind of criminality to fester, the same Nigerian government that rejected the intelligence of the United States decided to start Operation Safe Corridor. How do you do repentant terrorists in the middle of a war when the victims of their killings and terrorism are still languishing in internally displaced person camps in conditions that are subhuman? That same country was spending billions rehabilitating known terrorists, allegations with even engaging them into the country's armed forces, and you say there is no collusion. You cannot say you are neutral. So until Nigerians realize that this is beyond what is being said is less than what is not said. For the past, you know how many days now you can see the government running from pillar to post. For 2 years, you needed President Trump to tell you before you can appoint diplomats. We had no ambassadors manning our embassies across the country. The president they are more concerned with trying to pull people from one party and entering into the APC so that you can begin to sing on your mandate you shall fall. It is a colossal failure and a shame, but Nigerians must wake up and save ourselves.